opening statement, and then we'll get to your questions. We do need to wrap up around 10:25-ish so we can transition to Jake.
Good morning, everybody. It's officially basketball season. I saw the first snowflakes this morning, about 6 a.m. So excited. Great opportunity as we take part in the Gavitt Games and have a great test and a great venue against a great program and in Marquette. And we're excited to be, as always, a part of the Gavitt Games and what a tremendous family. The Gavitts have been very, very influential in the world of basketball and again, excited to be a part of this. So coming off our last game, was very pleased with what we did defensively, and I thought we were very efficient on the offensive end for a team that didn't shoot the ball very well. We're a really good shooting team that just kind of missed shots, but thought we got the ball where we needed to. I'm very pleased with our offensive rebounding and extremely pleased with just the opportunity to get Curbelo and Trent back into the flow a little bit of what we're trying to do and see what that looks like as we move forward here. So good to have them back. No new news on Hutch yet. He is starting to do some light workouts, and we'll see how that moves forward today. And obviously last game without Kofi. So we'll head to Milwaukee and get ready for a tough road battle.
Hey, Brad, could you talk about your history with Shaka Smart?
Yeah, Shaka has been a guy that obviously, now I feel like a bit of a veteran, and obviously we played his team at in the first round of the NCAA tournament, my first year as the head coach at VCU. Shaka had that thing rolling at an extremely high level. And it allowed Stephen F. Austin to get we had our first NCAA tournament win in the school's history there, really on kind of a fortunate 4-point play. But no, and then obviously he takes the Texas job. We end up in the same state, and we scrimmaged them one year. He was gracious enough to scrimmage us, and then obviously myself going to Oklahoma State, being in the league together. We played against each other's teams there, and he's been a good friend. He's been a guy that has been an acquaintance. And we've had conversations over the years and how he built VCU when I was at Stephen F. And he's been a guy that I've picked his brain on various things, both inside and outside of basketball.
And his style was sort of compared to your style when you played faster. Can you talk about how his style has changed in the different places he's gone?
Well, I mean, he's back playing that way now. The way he played at VCU, I mean, just constant attacking, a ton of pressure. You're going to get pressed off a missed free throw. You're going to get pressed every possession. They'll give you a lot of different looks in that press. But then just wide open on the offensive end. This team this year has taken a lot of threes, more threes than I remember his teams in the past taking, but yeah, just maximize their effort and their intensity. He's always got long athletes, and this team's no different.
Thank you.
Hey, Brad, you said the other day Jacob Grandison has grown. How has he grown in this last year with you?
Well, I think he's a guy that, again, last year, just coming off the year off, getting adjusted to the Big Ten, I think there's a big mental growth with him getting acclimated, getting adjusted, and then literally playing a different position this summer with the Finnish national team, playing a lot of off guards, being in ball screens, being in a decision maker, Those were all things that he's really grown from in the offseason, and it was a great experience for him. And he's continued to further enhance that piece of his game.
And with Coleman playing the 4 and he's more at the 3 now, does that change anything for him? And what do you think he brings to your team? Because it feels like, Brad, most people talk about the other stars you got in your team, and he just seems to bring a lot to you.
Yeah, I mean, Jake's one of our most versatile guys, and he's always going to be able to guard, any wing for that matter, at really any size. But he's a guy that, gives you that 3-point shooting. Now he's added the ability to set a ball screen and be a pick and pop guy, but he's also that guy now who can come off the ball screen. We feel pretty comfortable with him in dribble handoffs, in zoom actions and pin downs, coming off and being able to make plays, not just for himself, but for others. And his ability to get out and run. He's an elite runner, and never gets tired. So, his ability in the open court now, because of his increased ball handling responsibilities, he can get out and make plays. And that's something that we're seeing a lot of here.
Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Coach, good morning. I also had a couple questions on Jacob Grandison. He seems to be getting a lot more involved early in the year in just the first 2 games, and obviously that could be a product of other guys being out. But what have you kind of seen from him in these first 2 games that's really impressed you, because he's scoring a lot?
Yeah, but we need his leadership. I think that's one of the things that's maybe gone unnoticed a little bit, is how good a leader he's been. He's playing a lot of minutes. He's been again, one of our most versatile guys. He's a guy that we run actions to, and we put him in a lot of positions to what we call shakes or high shakes, coming off ball screens to space the floor. There's a couple rip drive opportunities in there. So, we're running actions to him, and that's not something that necessarily we did a lot last year.
Yeah, and then personality-wise, whenever we talk to him, I always feel like he's really wise, or maybe in the way he speaks. Can you kind of describe how that helps his leadership ability a little bit?
I think it's maturity. He's got a very mature attitude. He's got a very mature way about him. His personality is that of one of more of an adult. And kind of a fatherly figure to some of these guys. Now he's a class clown as well. He's funny. He's got a great sense of humor, but he's a guy that, again, has he understands the crowd he's in, where he's at, and his surroundings all the time. And, he's a very mature young guy.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Coach, as you go out to become a road team, you haven't been a road team in a while as far as crowds. Is there something special about going back into enemy territory and maybe hearing boos and seeing how your team reacts to hostile environments?
Well, we're definitely going to see that tomorrow. Marquette's one of the storied programs in college basketball. They've got a tremendous fan base, playing a great venue. I'm expecting a sellout crowd or close to it, and none of them are going to be for us. So, how we handle that, we were terrific on the road last year. Obviously minus the fans. But again, it's still the challenge of maturity, toughness. You've really got to be good on the defensive end. That's why we keep stressing so much and talking so much about defensive end and rebounding the basketball. Those things get amplified even more. And then you can't turn the ball over. And that's going to be a big challenge tomorrow against a team that presses and applies a bunch of pressure.
Thank you.
Brad, go ahead. Brad, I count 5 games that you played against Marcel at Maryland, and I'm curious of what you've seen out of what Shaka is doing in his first 2 games. Is it a matter of usage rate, or is it a matter of him just being an older guy on that team? But is there a difference that you're seeing from what you've seen from him at Maryland?
Yeah, I mean, here's a guy that has turned into a primary ball handler, a primary decision maker. He's at the top of the food chain, with a team that, needs him to score. So his identity, his role is different. And, let's not forget, in his time at Maryland, they were very, very successful, won a lot of games. And, he was the defensive player of the year in the Big Ten or close to it almost every year, a guy that was a menace to score against. And now his role is flipped, excuse me. He's a guy that they need him to score baskets and they need him to facilitate. And I think it's showing how good a player he is. He's a guy that we used to dork last year, in the years past. We didn't really want to guard him. He was give him the three. And, now he's shooting 50% from the three. So, a credit to that young man because he's obviously worked and put in the time. But very, very good college basketball player.
I don't know how many times people dorked Trent early on in his career, so maybe it's not the same, but is the way that you use Trent now very similar to how they use Marcel at Marquette?
Yeah, I mean, they're different players, but yes, conceptually, I think that, they're a team that, again, he's averaging 20, just shy of 24 a game. So, he's got to be a primary scorer for those guys and for them. And he's really good at it because he scores in a lot of ways. And, he's the point of their press. He's active. He's got great hands. He's got great size. So, he's very, very versatile, but conceptually, yes, Matt.
Thanks.
Hey, Brad, I guess as you've started the season, down some guys, and you feel like maybe this team was in a better place to handle that because you've got 21, 22, 23, 24-year-olds on the roster?
Yes. And there's no doubt. I mean, if you're doing this with a bunch of young guys and a bunch of freshmen, becomes really challenging. And, playing, people have no earthly idea how hard it is to make the jump from high school to college. And when you're doing that with young guys and you're out and your best players are out, having a group of veterans around them has definitely helped us, Scott, no doubt. And it's that experience helps. And I hope it helps us as we go on the road.
And I guess, defensively, even knowing it's a small sample size, you've got a turnover percentage that's even higher right now than it was in your first couple of years where that was a focus. Is it the added length at seemingly every position that is maybe helping you do that without being so heavy and ball denial?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. I mean, we're trying to force more turnovers. We're trying to be a little more active in gaps. I think we're trying again to be almost the opposite of denial, not getting overextended. But I do think we're active. I do think we have a better understanding of what we're trying to do.
Sure. Thank you.
Is that everybody? For Coach? I hear anything
I
else?
have one. I think Tyler doesn't have one.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Hey, Coach, with Coleman defensively, he's done a lot of good things. Going to face the most physical test if you look at Justin Lewis at the 4. How much more ready is he for that this year versus last year? I know that was something you talked about in terms of him handling physicality.
Yeah, that's what Adam Fletcher earns a living to do, is help guys get ready for that challenge. And Lewis is a physical specimen. He's 235, 240 pounds. Coleman is an elite defender, not because of his girth, but because of his length, his anticipation, his IQ, and to guard guys like that for the course of 40 minutes, that's the next challenge for Coleman. And he's much more prepared. Last year, Derek, I mean, he was in 2 and 3 minute stints and then he was exhausted. So we've seen his stamina, we've seen his growth. We've also seen how hard Coleman plays, his tenacity, his effort. I mean, he drew 10 fouls the other night. That activity is really special. Now he's got to carry that to a big boy game.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. See you more. Tyler, you got one?
No, Scott asked exactly the question I was going to ask. So thanks.
You got it. We'll see you in Milwaukee.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks.
Thanks, coach.
Okay, stand by. I gotta relocate and we'll have started with Jake. Go ahead with whoever has the first question.
Hey, Jake. Shaka Smart teams and, Marquette they're known for a certain style of play. They speed teams up, lots of ball pressure. Can you just talk about, how you guys are going to handle that and what some of the keys are for you?
I'm not going to give the scouting report away like that. But like I say all the time, I think it's just about what we do and making sure that we're sound with our principles. Getting pressured is common in basketball. So it's just about being tough, getting open, tough with the ball, and just executing.
Thanks, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jake, hope you're well, man. How has your game grown? Obviously coming to a new team, or you kind of get involved with a new team play last year and this year taking on more of a scoring role with some guys out. But how has your game grown over the last year here?
To be honest, I've already been the player that I am. It just in the years before I've been required to do other things to get on the court. So now I would say I'm just able to showcase it a little bit more. I've worked a lot this off season though, still in working in ball screens, ball handling. From experience, I've learned how to read defenses better. But to be honest, I've had the abilities that I have and have shown a little bit in the first two games. I just, needed the opportunity and the platform, and that's kind of been my story, just needing an opportunity to prove myself. So yeah.
And apologize if you've been asked this before, but how did the experience with the Finnish team this summer, how did that kind of impact you?
I think it was really good. I had a completely different role when I was on that team. I was able to just be in ball screens from the get. I was more of not the focus player, but I had a more significant offensive role. I think it kind of allowed me to get my engine going a little bit and get the chains moving a little bit, if you will, in terms of playing a little bit looser rather than having one or two jobs to do as I did last year.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Hey, Jake, good morning. Hopefully you're staying warm. Campus is getting cold. I kind of wanted to ask about your leadership capabilities. Coach Underwood said that there's a lot of guys on the team who look up to that. Can you kind of describe how you carry yourself in that manner?
Yeah. I have a serious answer and a less serious answer. The less serious answer is that I'm kind of like because I've thought about this and talked with people, I'm kind of like a fun uncle in a way. Like I'm older and I do the right things, but I still can like kick it with you, joke around and whatnot. But then on a serious note, I don't know, I just try to do the right thing and carry myself in a particular way. And I think one thing about leading is the hardest part is not making a mistake yourself. Sometimes people feel like they don't want to over assert themselves, holding someone accountable, because then that means you can't also make that mistake in a way. So just making sure that I'm on my P's and Q's, so that when I do say something to someone, it's like, oh yeah, Jacob knows what he's talking about, and he does it this way, so I can follow that. But I don't know, it's just kind of who I am, to do the right thing. And I'm on a team with a bunch of guys who want to win. So it makes it that much easier.
Yeah. And then coach kind of said that you're really mature. Where did you gain this level of maturity from? Or is there a place where you think it comes from, I guess? or even like a process where it was kind of built towards this, maybe?
That's a tough question. It's so many things from so many experiences. I would need a second to even think about that. I think a part of it comes with being humble in a way. And I don't know, that's a real tough question. I don't know. I've been raised a certain way, strict parents, do the right thing kind of parents. It takes a village to raise a kid kind of thing. My grandparents, everything. I don't know. I'm an older brother. I don't know. It's so many things. I appreciate you saying that, but I don't have a great answer for you.
Yeah, no worries, Jake. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Jake, as you guys have started this season, with not every player available, do you feel like maybe this team was set up to handle that because you do have some older guys and maybe understand it's just, okay, still have to go to work, still have to get the job done, even if not everybody's can play?
Absolutely. Old guys, young guys, I think that's just something about the culture here too, next man up, not complaining about the cards that you're dealt, just, going out and doing your best, giving everything you got. That's just how we are here at Illinois.
And maybe just beyond a commitment to defend, to sit down and guard, what do you feel like the team has done well through 2 games at that end of the court to give up 100 points in 2 games?
I think we're playing as a team on defense. I don't think we're perfect at all. We watch film and everybody has a couple of mistakes. I think everybody is buying into playing hard and giving an all-out effort, which is really hard to do for 40 minutes. But we hear every single day that defense wins championships, and you could shoot 19% in one night. But if you're playing hard and playing defense, you can still win some of those games. So I think just guys buying in is really key to our defense. And it's only the 2nd game of the season, so a lot more to come on that end.
Thanks, Jake.
Jake, I just had a quick follow-up. Obviously, you guys have playmaking guards, but Io was kind of this bigger guard that could score. Are you finding yourself taking a little bit of that, a slice of that, where you can kind of be this bigger playmaker at guard?
Definitely. I think Io was a great example to follow. I have found myself in certain actions that Io was put in. Not every play is coming my way, which is fine. But in certain actions, I wouldn't say I envisioned what Io was doing, but I was taking notes of that, and I'm able to apply that a little bit in the actions that I'm in, or I found myself in the last 2 games.
Thanks, Jake.
Mm.
Jacob, can you talk about your impression of Shaka Smart over the years as you grew up?
I didn't really spend too much of like my younger years watching too much TV. Like I watched some games on some mornings if it was on TV, but I know he was at Texas. I had a friend who was actually a GA at Texas, so I've heard some things, but I can't tell you none of that kind of stuff. But I know he's a real good coach. He's well known. I'm sure he has a good game plan for us, but I'm more focused on what we have.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Jake. Safe travels.